Hello everyone and welcome. In today's video of the Hylian Gamescast, the best Zelda podcast in the world, we are going to be giving all of the details for you to enter our giveaway for a signed copy of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Signed by the voice actors for Zelda, the Great Deku Tree, Tiba, Revali, and possibly even others, as well as how you can help us enter a separate competition. Simply go to the link below and vote for GameOverJesse. If we win, we will be giving away 2 signed copies exclusively to those who voted for us and sent in proof on Twitter, on our Discord, Instagram, or the comments below. Links to a video that goes more in depth is below in the description and the top pinned comment. Today we are also answering Zelda questions you sent in on our last Zelda mailbag. So please, leave your questions for us to answer in the comments below. Now here is your chance to play along and be featured on our next video. Answer the following question in the comments below, as well as giving us a question for our mailbag, which will be live streamed tonight around 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We want to know, what is your favorite Zelda theory? Please, none that are easily debunked, such as Link being dead in Majora's Mask or the 5 stages of grief, where the creators of the game themselves, including Aonuma and Miyamoto, have all said they weren't true and debunked them. Those theories aren't necessarily theories, they're more an embarrassing joke at this point. Continuing on yesterday's video we discussed the new Zelda-like game for Nintendo Switch called Windscape. Our Zelda mailbag question for that video came from Abigail G, who commented, "My question for the next Zelda mailbag, if you could choose any champion or champion descendant to have their own spin-off game, which would you choose? How would that game's mechanics be different than Breath of the Wild because of the different protagonist?" Our winner for that Zelda mailbag is Bones of Light. If a champion/champion descendant were to have their own spin-off game, I could definitely see Prince Sidon of the Zora being a protagonist in his own game. The game would begin with the passing of his father after his sister, and him having to learn and go on a quest to prove his worth as a king. A good king. The new mechanics would be underwater travel as well as underwater boss fights and dungeons. Cutting in here, that is one of the things that I wished Breath of the Wild had, underwater exploration and dungeons. Obviously that's something that they were saving for the sequel, but it still would have been great to see it at least in a limited amount, maybe solidified to a single dungeon in Breath of the Wild. Continuing on with Bones of Light's comment, he might have to ask Link for help. It would dive, pun intended, as he has dive in quotes, more into his character and make him a truly memorable character of the Zelda series. Sounds like a couple of recent superhero movies, but still sounds awesome to me. Obviously Bones of Light is referencing Aquaman. So congratulations Bones of Light for winning and receiving a shout out on our podcast. Remember, if you would like to have a shout out on our next episode, please comment your answer for today's Zelda mailbag question. What is your favorite Zelda theory? And details for everything, including our signed Breath of the Wild giveaway and how you can help us by voting for us in the Kinda Funny competition. You can find links for everything in the description and the top pinned comment below. We really need your help on this. Now let's get to the video. Hello everyone and welcome. I am Jesse, or GameOverJesse. Before we get to the rest of the Hylian Gamescast, we have something really awesome that you can help us with, and then we also have something that we can help you with. I completely botched that, but yeah. So here with us is Cliff, Daniel, and Gibbs. So we have a giveaway that we are doing. We're giving away signed copies of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Not signed by us, as amazing as that would be. I know you all would rather probably have that, but instead we are giving away a consolation prize. We're giving away signed copies of Breath of the Wild by Patricia Somerset, the voice of Zelda. Sean Chiplock, the voice of Revali, the Great Deku Tree, and Tiba? Is that it?
Teba? Yeah.
Yeah. Because he voices all of them.
Birdman.
Other bird guy, yes. And then maybe other voice actors from the game. Like we've had Joe on, still kind of talking, working out a date. Like the other voice actors for like Mifa and Urbosa have agreed to come on the podcast, but they're super duper busy. So while they have agreed to come on, we still don't have a specific date for them. We don't even have a specific date for Patricia returning. We just know that she's going to be coming back in like a month or two, whenever that is.
Oh.
She's in the middle of recording or releasing whatever, her new album. So she's going to be talking about that. but she's also going to be the one selecting the winners of the giveaway. So in the description, I'll have a link to a Gleam IO giveaway. It's a great way to just consolidate a bunch of different things that you would need to do in order to enter this giveaway. But basically, on the Gleam, it'll have a few different links. One of the links, which will also have the link directly to the video below as well, will be to our last video with Patricia, to where you can comment a question for her, similar to the normal Zelda mailbag that we do. And when she comes back on the podcast, she'll go through, pick 5 or 10 of her favorite questions, answer them, and then after she answers all of them, at the very end of the video, she will pick one of the questions as her favorite, and whoever she picks will win the signed Breath of the Wild giveaway. We are also doing a giveaway for our Patreon supporters, so exclusively for people like Gus and some of the other people here that are supporters of us on patreon.com/GameOverJesse. And there's also a competition that you can help us with, which is, I already have a video kind of explaining it, but to go over it again briefly, there's a contest that Game Over Greggy, or Kinda Funny, however you may know them, they basically all used to work at IGN. They were like the main podcast hosts and video news hosts at IGN before they decided to start their own YouTube channel and do their own news and everything. If you don't know who Greg Miller is, I don't know how you wouldn't know. He's probably literally the most famous video game journalist in the world. Think about it like, this is just a small example, but every year at the Game Awards, they always have like most popular gamer or something like that. And the very first year that they had the award, it was people like PewDiePie, Markiplier, other super duper famous people like that have like millions and millions of followers. And despite them having like tens of millions of subscribers on YouTube, Greg still won, even though at the time he had just started his YouTube channel and they had like probably less than 100,000 subscribers. Yet they were still able to beat out these people with millions and millions of subscribers, because all of their fans aren't 10-year-old kids that only care about Minecraft. They're actually people like us who actually have a passion for the gaming industry. So he was able to win because everyone voted, and yeah, it was really awesome. And now that his channel, or their team, is a lot more successful, they're doing something to where they're kind of giving back to their community. Whenever they first began Kinda Funny, I was lucky enough to have Greg Miller as one of my very first guests on my YouTube channel. I have no idea why he came on. I think around the time I had about 3,000 subscribers, which is far less than I do now. But he was nice enough to come on and talk. And we actually talked about Zelda Wii U as it was known back then, because it wasn't known as Breath of the Wild at the time. And so you can go watch those videos, but the point of this is they're doing their competition, and they're basically flying 2 people out. I think they're going to be picking 2 different YouTube channels. I don't know if they're just picking 1 person from each, or if they're like 2 people from each. There's different articles that I've read that have worded it different ways, but whichever it may be, you can go and vote. You fill it out. It's only 4 questions, basically asking you who you're voting for, why you're voting for them, what type of stuff they do, and then it asks for their like a way to get in touch with them. So like a Twitter or an Instagram or whatever, a link to something that they can actually use to get in touch with the person. There's been a lot of amazing people that have voted for me already, and a part of this segment was I posted a video earlier today saying that if you went and voted for me, shared it on Twitter or whatever, we would read it and basically give you a shout out. So to really quickly cover a couple of those, We'll save the rest for next week because this podcast, it's really, really late, so I want to hurry up and get through this. But going through the most recent we have here from Hylian Faye on Twitter. It says, why are you nominating them? Tell us what you love about them and their content. They say Jesse works day in and day out to bring his fans the highest quality news. Not true. I'm actually very lazy, but thank you. Quality news, podcasts, and discussion videos related to Zelda, as well as Nintendo and gaming in general. Jesse always responds to his fans when they reach out to him and does his very best to make time for anything that they may consider or any recommendations they may have. The next person is King Chess Gaming, who tagged all of us on Twitter with Kinda Funny Vids. Says, you guys definitely deserve the win. You said you'd shout out, so my YouTube channel is Boundless Owl. So I guess he's doing this for the shout out, but either way, thank you, Boundless Owls. He says, why are you nominating them? They not only have an amazing podcast, but almost daily videos. They deserve much more than what they have in terms of viewership. And yeah, that's very simple for him. Another one, Andrew, or Fat Thumbs on Twitter. That's a very interesting username. Fat Thumbs says, I nominate the group over at GameOverJesse for 5, but very important reasons. 1, they're dedicated and passionate for their topics and craft. 2, they never spread misinformation or say do anything simply because it's easy. I guess that goes back to the video that we just did previously, where we actually talk about how horrible it is seeing the spreading of misinformation, like the article that said the new Zelda sequel was confirmed and then saying that it was possibly confirmed but was likely completely different. So it's like articles like that is what he's referring to. So it's kind of ironic, or not ironic, but a coincidence, I guess is a better word, for him writing that, because we literally just did a video on it. Number 3, their respect, camaraderie, and appreciation with and for their supporters and consumers of their content. They've never held themselves higher than any others, staying grounded and lighthearted. If there are any flubs, bloopers, and or mistakes, they'll all have a good laugh and just keep going. Joey just tweets at me and says, you have my vote. That's Ferris Wheel Productions from Commonwealth Realm. We have Miss Click just saying that she gives her support as well. Matt Bloody Fatality says he doesn't really give out his thing. He just screenshotted showing that he sent the support. Amanda Van Heil, who is the news editor and news video host at ZeldaUniverse.net, tweeted, says, submitted my friend GameOverJesse for the Kinda Funny Vids, Game Over Greggy, up-and-comer opportunity. Also, for those who don't know, Amanda was the co-host for our old podcast before the Hylian Gamescast. But that only had like 12 episodes, where this has had like close to 70 something.
Yeah.
But anyways, she says, Jesse is hardworking, passionate about gaming, and overall just a great guy. So thank you, Amanda. I guess the very last one is Chicken Perm, because I like his name.
I love Chicken Perm.
Says
So
my
comes to all my
nomination.
streams.
He says my nomination for Kinda Funny competition is submitted, and it is an easy vote for GameOverJesse at Kinda Funny Vids. He says, why are you nominating them? He writes, he covers beyond extremely well the greatest video game series ever in The Legend of Zelda. He has taken the time to converse with me on Twitter and provide advice. Very generous and kind soul. Funny guy too. So yes, there has been way too many to go through and read all of these. Maybe when the competition gets closer to being done, I can go through and pick out some of my favorites, because there are a few that don't just list me, but also name out Daniel and Chiblima and Ilya and say nice stuff about the entire team, not just myself.
but maybe I can get some of those that talk about them, and then they can read it out on the next podcast when everyone is actually here. So thank you for everyone who has already submitted. If you haven't already submitted, there's a link in the description. You get an opportunity to get yours read out like this as well, and you also get a chance to make us incredibly happy, and we also get a chance to make you guys incredibly happy because we are giving away the signed copies of Breath of the Wild, where if I end up actually winning, which I'm actually kind of afraid that they might say that I'm overqualified because 75,000 subscribers might be too much. Maybe they're looking for someone around like 10 to 15. I don't know,
Maybe.
But who knows? That is a possibility that like whenever you go in for like a normal job, but then you have like manager or supervisor experience and they're like, you're too qualified, we can't like let you bring yourself down to this level for this job. Like, I hope it's not something.
I think you maybe overthinking it. I'm sure.
Maybe.
You know.
I'm just like thinking of like worst case scenarios. They're like, we were going to pick you, but you're doing too good of a job already.
Like, okay, like maybe like if they're wanting to promote like a really small channel or something.
Yeah. Well,
but I don't know. It's
the other side of this is like in the video they mentioned they're looking for someone who has experience and stuff because they're bringing the person out to be on videos with them. They don't want to get someone who they're going to bring out and then just like freezes up and doesn't know what to do at all. That's like barely knows basic video editing skills and stuff. So like there are people who are very experienced but don't have many subscribers. Like the Two Button Crew was one of my favorite YouTube channels.
Good dudes.
They have very professional editing, very professional video equipment, a very professional set, very professional lighting, but they don't get nearly as many views as they deserve. They get like 100 views on each of their videos where they do some of the best Nintendo videos that I have ever seen. And then there are people like myself to where I just have a curtain thrown up as my backdrop with a messy desk, and for some reason I'm able to get awesome people watching. So that's basically what the competition is for. Please, if you haven't already, go vote for GameOverJesse. So you wouldn't necessarily be voting for Daniel or Kayla or Ilya, which I guess you could, but
I guess I'd be flattered if I were nominated, but I fully, and I throw my support behind Jesse. I fully say if you're thinking about nominating anyone related to this channel, just throw all your support to Jesse. He is a huge fan of these guys. He deserves to go far more than I do, and he works way harder on all. I mean, this is his channel, obviously, so he works way harder on this than I do, right?
Well,
so.
Remember how excited he was looking for them at E3?
Oh yeah. And it was
and
adorable.
then they got excited.
I loved it.
No, it wasn't just me
was great,
getting excited to see them. When they seen me, they got excited to see me as well.
Yeah, and that was fantastic to see that. And just been like, hey, and then like their intro was their PR person and calling them over. This is GameOverJesse. It was great, and so. Yes, guys, vote for GameOverJesse. I'm not just saying that because he's my BFF, but also because he really does deserve to go. If I'm being honest, so if you're thinking that Daniel guy's cool, I will not win. I don't win things like. Vote for Jesse. He has a chance. So.
There's already been at least 30 to 40 people that I've seen vote for me, or at least have said they voted for me. Cliff was actually the person who introduced me to it, because he just tagged me in something, and I was like, oh, that would be cool.
I saw it in my feed, and I was like, you know what? Like, Jesse, he likes these guys. He should probably be invited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
And really quick, for the people that may also be fans of Kinda Funny or Greg Miller, obviously know his username is GameOverGreggy, which is what inspired mine. When I first started my channel, I just thought of a quick username based off of what was inspiring me, which also let people know exactly what the channel was about. To where, like, there are people whose YouTube channel or username or Twitch name or whatever has absolutely nothing to do with what they talk about. Like, it'll be CowTaco504 as their username, just something completely random. And then they'll be talking about Mario videos. But how are you supposed to know that they talk about Mario when their username is like that? And then there are people that you come across, like Chablima, who were the old McIntyre. Originally, McIntyre didn't want people to know his real name was Andy, but then he ended up letting people know, and then finally it was okay. Actually, I think, like, he let people know, and then he tried getting it to be secretive, and then he went back to letting people know. I don't exactly know what it was, but people like that, to where, like, McIntyre, like, it was a mix of his last name with his friend who he started the channels with. Like, they took both of their last names and, like, combined them to make McIntyre.
Because McIntyre is also a real name.
Yeah.
As well, so.
But, yeah, so McIntyre, like, no one was named McIntyre, and Andy was his real name. So, like, you wouldn't know what to call him if you met him in person, and then calling someone their username, like CowTaco504. Or, like, I'm looking at another person who submitted a thing. His name is Kyogre's Hideout, a reference to the Majora's Mask fish boss. I don't know how to pronounce the name, but
George.
George, yeah. So it's like you wouldn't really know what to call them if you met them in person or if you were talking to them. So I tried thinking of something that told you what my channel was about, video games. So the game over part. It was a reference to the person who inspired me to make the videos, Game Over Greggy, and it also made use of my real name. So it wouldn't just be people confused on what to call me, they would actually know my name, the username, what to expect from the channel. It was literally the perfect username.
Your real name's in that? What?
Yeah, my name, it's Over.
Oh, that makes sense.
No, so, but yeah, that was the whole point. And whenever I had Greg on my channel, of course he knew about my channel long before he came on, because we were talking for a few months before he actually came on, because we planned it so far ahead of time. But whenever he was on, like, there are a few people, I think it was like during the live stream or whatever, it's like, oh, what does Greg think about you stealing his name? And then Greg was like, no, I don't think that at all. I think it's awesome. Like, if someone was inspired by what I did to pursue what made them happy, then I feel honored that I'm able to inspire people to do that. And
that's so wholesome.
So it's like that. The people
There's also another video where he calls you a hack.
Well, that was a joke. That was
no, I know that was a joke. That's why
us calling each other out for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which that story or that video is on the channel too. But it's basically
very funny.
We were both sent copies of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for the Nintendo Switch, like about half a month before the game actually released. It was when Nintendo would actually send review copies really, really early. Now it's like a day before the game releases or a week before.
You have no time to do anything in the game.
Yeah, like we got Fire Emblem Warriors. I sent it to Daniel, the download code.
It was
like
the day
before. Was it the day of?
I think it was the day of its release.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
very limited window to do anything with it.
Yeah, but anyways, Mario Kart 8 is most fun when you're playing online. And because it was an early copy, I literally knew no one who also had the game early. So I just sent out a message to him just like, hey, there's no real competition for anyone to play online because I don't know anyone. I seen you had an early copy too, but I doubt you would be competition as well. And then we just like started this back and forth thing, and I got to a point to where he was in the middle of the Kind of Funny morning show, which they go over like any entertainment, gaming news early in the morning. And there's a segment that he did to where before he planned out the the competition we had, the versus thing, there's a segment to where like it was basically if anyone watches like any wrestling stuff, just like the basic wrestling promo where like you talk trash in a friendly way to the person and then they talk trash back, which is something that I don't do. So it was basically just him like tearing me down. And then we played Mario Kart and it was fun. But the video's on the channel, you can go watch it. It's really cool. But yeah, so he's done a few things on the channel. There's pictures and stuff that whenever we met up with them at E3 a few times, we sat and watched their GameSpot thing. But this is my chance to be featured on their channel. So I was super excited when Cliff tagged me in it, because I didn't even know it was an actual thing until he did, and I was like, oh, that would be cool, but it'll never happen. And then I seen it was a thing where people can vote for you, and I'm like, oh, maybe I actually have a chance at this. If I can convince every single 74,000 people that subscribe to me to go and vote, I might just win. But yeah, anyways, moving on to the Zelda mailbag. We will each take a question, everyone except me. So okay. Daniel, Cliff, and Gibbs, because we're running on so late. So we're going to answer 3 questions. We had a question from the Man Cave boy.
Yeah.
Who donated earlier. So go ahead and read his as the first question, and then if there are Patreon supporters, we can read them as well.
Yeah, well, we've got I think we've got 3 Patreon questions as well.
Okay, then we'll do the 4
one,
questions
so.
then. Yeah.
4 questions it is. Everyone else will have to wait. I'm sorry, everybody, but let's jump in there.
Yeah, well, it's
a good
1:30
time to mention.
So.
Good time to mention when we're doing the Zelda mailbag. Sometimes this happens. We have too many questions, guys. And sometimes we just can't get to all of them because we talk too much, mostly that reason. So if you really want to guarantee that we're going to answer your question, go ahead to Jesse's Patreon, patreon.com, GameOverJesse, and for whatever you feel like donating, we'll make sure that question is going to be answered in our Zelda mailbag. And yeah, that's all I got to say.
Ilya in the chat says, why am I still up? So we can't answer that type of question, Ilya. It needs to be maybe more gaming related.
Yeah, like
we can't comment on your own personal life, but you still, if you are awake, you still have a chance to join the mailbag and answer a question if you would like.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. But yeah, we'll jump in with the Man Boy Cave who donated earlier. Thank you, Mr. Man Boy Cave. Question is, with the rumors of more Nintendo games getting DLC, and if it's Breath of the Wild, would you rather play further as Link, bridging the gap until the next game, or play as Zelda after Link goes into hibernation?
The prior.
I'm gonna say the opposite. I'm gonna say play as Zelda because there's all this not destroyed yet Hyrule.
I want to play as Zelda after the game is beat. So like whenever they're going to check on Vah Ruta or whatever. What people thought the Champion's Ballad was actually going to be.
And then it wasn't.
Yeah. That's what I want.
Exactly.
Give us like the Majora's Mask or Phantom Hourglass version to where the game just immediately picks up right after.
Yeah. Sure. I'm down. What do you guys think? Gibbs, Cliff?
Yeah, I agree with you, Daniel. I'd rather play as Zelda, right after Link goes into hibernation. That actually would be a lot better.
Woohoo! Just turn that light back on. Turn that back on right now.
Yeah, I think I'm with Cliff. I would like to play as Zelda, but I think I would like to play a storyline where Zelda's actually trying to get her powers awakened. I think that would be a better game overall than just trying to figure out what's wrong with the Ruta or any of the other divine beasts for that matter. I think just the struggle the internal struggle of Zelda, just as they show it in Breath of the Wild, was really good, and I think if we're able to explore that into its own standalone game and actually have a Zelda game, would be great.
Yeah, actually, I like what you said, Gib. Like that would actually be nice too, because in Breath of the Wild, there was a lot of cutscenes about Zelda trying to reawaken her powers, so that would be nice to see.
Yeah, no, and that would be a really cool kicking start, and also like a lot of games have like a growth plan. You start as a weaker character and you get more powerful as the game goes on, and that would almost be a very good way to frame that growth plan for Zelda. To have it by the end of the game, you've got this power that you couldn't access at the start of it, so that would be cool. I agree.
And I actually, thinking back into it, a lot of this, the cutscenes that they show us are not necessarily Link's memory, or actually those memories where Link happens to be present.
Yeah, I mean that's true. They're not really about Link. He's just kind of there.
They're always in the point of on her point of view. So
yeah, even the one where there's even one where he doesn't even show up till halfway through. Like memory where Zelda's being pursued by the Yiga clan, and then Link steps in and saves her. Half of that memory. Kermit? Sorry,
she's being persecuted by Kermit.
By Kermit, yes. but they like Link doesn't even show up until like halfway through that memory. So it's like he's not even there for part of it. So how does he remember that? I don't know. Or is he just watching and he's like, wait for it?
Yeah, there's that other one where, or is it that one where she's like, why did my father send you? Like, I'm here by myself.
Yeah, that one too. Yeah, and he shows up partway through. But if this is his memory, like he wasn't there for a bit. I didn't even think of this until now. Nintendo.
2 years later.
It took me 2 years to realize that these are not Link's memories at all. Oh no. Oh no. Well, I think that wraps.
It's just what he assumed happened based off what he thinks someone may have told him at one point.
He was like, yeah, she was probably, trying to use the Sheikah Slate on the thing. She said something about it. And then I got there, right?
It's like, I vaguely remember someone mentioning something while I was sleepy. I don't know. It's like I think there was a talking tree, maybe.
Maybe. Yeah, he's completely not there for that one, for the whole part of that one.
Yeah.
It's like someone told me the sword may have spoken to her, but never spoke to me, but...
Yep. Oh, yes, well... Next, shall we move to the next question?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can.
What's next? What's next?
Right, I got one. By Goron and the Mud. How is Rosso in relation to Darunia, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's...
He looks like he's a Goron and Gerudo mix? Question mark. Sorry for the spelling. So
you guys were talking about this before.
So rephrasing the question, is Rosso from Link Between Worlds a mixed race as in Goron?
Hey everyone, it's me again, Elia Rose. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching this video. And you know what? If you're a fan of videos like this, you should totally subscribe and give this video a like and comment below to let us know what type of videos you would like to see us create in the future. And if you would really like to support all of us here at the GameOverJesse channel, please consider purchasing a GameOverJesse t-shirt or becoming a Patreon at patreon.com/GameOverJesse, where you can receive many rewards, such as getting shoutouts, having any topic or theory that you select discussed on the podcast or made into its own video, having your question answered, joining on as a guest on the podcast, and playing with us during our Twitch live streams at twitch.tv/GameOverJesse, and much, much more.